We're on the afternoon break of the questioning of Mark Metcalf at the undercover policing inquiry. Mark Metcalf was one of the activists from the Colin Roach Centre who was spied on by the undercover police officer Mark Jenner. I'm joined off screen, as often I am, by Alison, because she's got anonymity.
Hello.
Alison from Police Spies Out of Lives, who gave evidence on Monday.
Yes.
What have you made of what we've heard from Mark Metcalf today?
Well, I'm very tired after this week, but I think there's a few things that I actually made notes for the first time, Tom.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
so that I'd make some sense in a very short time.
Very impressed.
Thank you. I thought the thing he said this morning when he was defending his position about anti-fascism was brilliant. When he said, if I wanted to be, there was plenty of football violence going on. If I was interested in violence, I could have gone to the football and played out my violent tendencies there. And I thought that was spot on. I thought his defence and explanation of anti-fascism this morning was also, I mean, he's a very strong, principled anti-fascist, Mark. And I think his reference to the 43 group and the 62 group and his explanation of, what did he say about the fascists? He said what did he say? He said they're like bullies.
Oh, they need to prove that they're hard.
They're hard. That's what he said. Yeah. And they take over the streets and they want to be hard on the streets, and we have to. Yeah. So I really liked all that. I also, and I remember it at the time, and I have often over the years referenced this. Actually, he really was one of the first people I saw, first white person. I think the NMP felt the same way, but he was one of the first and only white people on the left that I was aware of who really called out the fascism of the Nation of Islam.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Of Islamic fundamentalism. And and not frightened, like some people on the left, I think, were a little bit afraid of being called racist for that. And he was not. He said, no, this is, they're misogynistic, they're homophobic, that he called them fascist, and I think, I think they are. And he also, I thought, really also this morning talked about police criminality, which is not a phrase we hear as a phrase particularly, and talking about there's a lot we're getting a lot. Well, I didn't, but a lot of activists are getting questions about political violence, and he was talking about the violence of our society in terms of people wanting decent housing and people and the racism. So I thought all of that was really good. So I think he's done, he's a big talker, Mark. He's always been a big talker, so you've got to listen to a lot of stuff. And he's he got upset earlier on, which was upsetting to watch.
It was, yeah. About Joe Gardner.
Yeah. And the other bit that I was so pleased that he said, because I had it in my statement, this ridiculous report. I mean, there's loads of ridiculous reports. We know that.
It doesn't narrow it down.
No, it doesn't narrow it down. But the one about, because I thought I was going mad. There was a report that I saw that said the Colin Roach Centre, we went on this delegation to Ireland in 1995, summer 95. Yes, we did. We went, we know we did. We've written about it. We talked about it.
There's photos of it.
There's photo, right. But then there's these reports that say that the Colin Roach Centre is going to go on an even bigger delegation, organising a bigger delegation in 1996, and that Mark Metcalf went, and in my statement I was like, I don't remember this. No, I think this is just rubbish. And Mark Metcalf has said the same. No, this is just rubbish. It's just completely made up. So, I mean, obviously, he then goes on to talk about lots of other reports that are completely made up as well. But it was because we hadn't discussed that, and it was just, from my point of view, it was just like that moment where, yeah, okay, I'm not going mad. I hadn't imagined that.
I mean, I think it's an interesting one because I think it shows the kind of thing that was obviously he was told, that's good. You've got reports about going to Northern Ireland. Yes. So, I'll go back. Let's say we're going back again. Let's say we go every year.
No one's ever going to know that you didn't, because it's never going to come out. No one's going to check it. You're not going to ask them. Oh, and now they are.
Yeah.
What about the what's the barrister's name? Sarah Hemingway.
Sarah Hemingway, yeah.
Did you have an extra sausage in the morning?
That was fantastic. I mean, so I would say Sarah Hemingway's had a bit of a bad day with Mark Metcalf. She's been, he set the pace of the questioning, but I think she really brought it back with that. She did a bit of a callback to the evidence we heard from Steve Headley yesterday.
Yeah, it was very clever.
when Steve Headley was asked if he'd have known that Mark Jenner was an undercover police officer, would he have invited him to stay at his mother's house, as he did when the delegation went to Derry? And he said, "Oh, and I'd given him an extra sausage at breakfast."
Yeah.
So I went with Mark Metcalf, who did stay at Steve Headley's mother's house as well. She was asked, "Well, did you get an extra sausage at breakfast?" He said, "No, he's vegetarian."
Yeah.
And Steve Headley probably had the extra one.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, what else could I mean, there's...
So we've been taking through a lot of the reports, Mark Jenner's reports.
Yeah.
There's some of the same ones we were shown yesterday about to Steve Headley. I would say that Mark Metcalf has a slightly different way of dealing with a lot of the things within it. He's looking for things. There's some things he's agreed with, which about like, well, yeah, it would be fair to say that about this, and the terms like whereas some people have like taken real issue with terms like street fighters.
Yeah,
he's had no problem with those that kind of terminology.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of it, and I'd be lying if I'd said I followed every word very closely. Which is why I made those notes, because there were some things that stuck out to me. I thought also it was very good how he has now twice made the point that Dave Smith should be up there talking about blacklisting.
Yes, and I think he's made it 3 times actually.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it is. We are apparently going to get onto blacklisting in the final section of the day. But he said again at that point, it should be Dave Smith. He knows more about it.
Yeah, and I think also he said it earlier, and I think we'll probably come to it later this afternoon, that he feels responsible somehow and bad that he introduced Mark Jenner into the group, and subsequently that I had a relationship with Mark Jenner. Mark Metcalf doesn't have to feel bad about that. You know what I mean? It's
Sure. But I think this is a really common thing that a lot of people feel. I mean, as someone who was responsible, who did introduce the undercover cop in my life to a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's something I think all of us who did that carry with us for quite a long time.
Yes, well, I think everybody who feels that needs to stop feeling that now.
Yes,
okay,
miss.
done. Because it's like we know, don't we? They are the ones who are responsible for that, and their managers and the whole all that. It's not our fault. It's certainly not Mark Metcalf's fault that I had a relationship with Mark Jenner. Anything else that I can think of? There was something else, but it's gone.
And there's been a lot made of the fact that he considers himself a Republican, as he said. Yeah, I'm an English Republican. It's like he's not Irish. And this was something that was put to Steve Headley yesterday as well. And it feels like the term Republican is kind of considered. This is some sort of criminality in and of itself.
Yes.
The idea of being anti-monarchist is like a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've lent into that. He's lent into a lot of stuff, which I think is good. The other thing that I quite enjoying watching Mark give his evidence is. I think Celia Stubbs, myself, Mark Metcalf, Steve Headley, and tomorrow Graham Smith, and John Burt Monaville are by no means, the majority of the membership of the Colin Roach Centre, but we are a bit of a cross section, and I think it does show the diversity of people in that group, which is quite interesting, really. I think. I hope it does. I hope the inquiries see that. I hope they see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going back.
Everybody else is going in. We should go back in. It's only a short break.
We'll
see you at the end of the day. Cheers for now.